And these guys are a big deal. That's right, another computer pickup. This is a little Zotac mini PC. Exactly how old it is, I'm not sure. But it's EUP ready, whatever that means. I thought it was ERP, but I guess it's EUP now. I should preface this by saying that I've already done everything with this. I forgot to make a video about it when I was doing my initial testing. So I can say that, well, this thing was given to me broken, or what they said was that it didn't work, but yet it actually works just fine. And right now it actually has a SSD in it, which we'll take a look at here in a bit when I pull the cover off. I don't know what you'd call this form factor. I don't think it's standard because, I mean, there's no slots or anything like that. It's not externally accessible. But you get your usual stuff plus a wireless LED. Standard things. One USB on the front and a card reader plus the headphone microphone. On the back, the DC input. I do have the power supply, so that's nice. It has an optical audio output. Kind of surprising to see that. Especially considering there's no rear audio at all, of which to speak of otherwise. It does have an HDMI in addition to the VGA, but there's no PS2 ports. You're just stuck with 4 USB plus an Ethernet and an eSATA, which I don't even think would double as a USB port. There's another USB port here, which I guess is separated from them like this because it's probably designed for use with something like a USB stick for booting. It's a cooling exhaust vent. Plus another thing, I don't actually know what this is. It's missing one of the screws to take it apart. I'm glad that they're thumb screws and not something stupid. So let's see if we can get this cover off one-handed. Nope, doesn't look like it. So, oh, there we go. Might have just broken it, but that's fine. Pull that off. To reveal the magic within. There's the BIOS chip, surprising that it's socketed, but warranty void if seal broken. CPU is underneath this heatsink with this fan, which I think is bad, but that's fine. It's a tiny fan, they're pretty much all bad. This actually is new enough that it's DDR3. I mean, it's not good DDR3, but it is DDR3, so that's tempting to upgrade. Probably find something for this. At least put 4 gigs in it. So it's only got 2 right now. In fact, I think it might have shipped with only 1, because those are different modules. Imagine that, 1 gig of RAM in this day and age. Oof. This uses solid-state capacitors. That's nice of it. There's the SSD that I put in. It says bad. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. This is based on a SandForce controller, so yeah, it's bad, but it actually does still work. For the time being, anyway. Or at least it did when I put it in here. Who knows if it works now. It looks like they thought about a reset button, but of course this doesn't have that. I guess this could have had like a DVI port in it. I don't know, I just pulled that out by accident. I also don't really know what this would have gone to because it looks like it's just solid molded plastic. Maybe they thought about something and never actually did it, I don't know. But, I'm going to put the cover back on this. I'm going to plug it in, we're going to fire it up. I might change the battery because I know that the battery is bad. But maybe I'll do that later, I haven't decided yet. Okay, I have it cabled up. I don't have it connected to the network. I'm not going to, at least not at this juncture in time. Then we'll plug it in. See a little light ring come on for a second and then go out. Got a red light at the front. The button doesn't really work. In fact, that doesn't work at all. Oh, maybe that's why this thing was left for dead. See if it works now. Yeah, that's way better. There's a wire stuck in front of the button for something. It's a little ring. Just beeped at me. Copyright 2009. Intel Atom D525, so almost worth something. There's the SSD. Run setup here. It's telling me to wait. Here it is. The standard AMI BIOS that I'm sure everybody has seen. So this is 2010 actually. I wonder if there's an update for this. If I go to Zotac's website, if I could find a flash ROM for this thing, but who cares? 2 gigs of RAM. Date and time is completely and utterly lost. I'll set it, just for the sake of setting it. It's 12:37 in the morning. On the 5th of September. Hard to believe it's already into September. Take a look at the PC health status. It looks like it's working. I thought the fan was bad when I was checking it before. Maybe it is, I don't know. Interestingly, there's no like 5 volt or 3.3, well there is a 3.3 volt, but there's no like 5 or 12 volt monitor, even though this would almost certainly need to have it because it's got a hard drive in it. Oh yeah, I can hear the fan. Maybe you can hear it on the video, I don't know. Over all the noise that someone's going to complain about, foolishly thinking that I care. Configure as IDE. Well, maybe I don't want that. Let's configure it as AHCI. Of course, the ACPI things. I don't know why it separates it out into like 3 different menus. It's a little weird. Ooh, headless mode. Isn't that nice? Energy Lake feature. Okay. I have no idea what that is, and it doesn't really tell you anything. So, maybe that's the EUP of which they were talking about. I noticed that there's no option for automatically powering it on. Not in there anyway, where it usually is supposed to be. Maybe some configuration stuff. Oh, there it is. For some reason it's in the Southbridge chipset management area. I don't know why, but it is. There it is. USB, 8 USB ports. Well, that's odd, considering there's only 6 of them on the entire box. So, sure. There's the boot ROM for the LAN. It's, again, in the Southbridge chipset. Although I guess that makes a little bit of sense, because that's probably where the LAN controller is. But then we've got Perform Setting, which is for your performance stuff. This is your overclocking and all your other nonsense. Or that you want to do any of that on something like this. We'll exit saving changes. Zotac ZBOX. I guess it's supposed to call that ZBOX, but I can't bring myself to do that. You know, we speak real English here. I'm sure that's going to get someone in a tizzy, because I dared to say that on a video. Like I said, this thing somehow works despite being labeled bad. It's running Windows 10, which is probably asking a lot of a box like this, especially with only 2 gigs of RAM. I think it's even 64-bit. Of course, I'll need to log in. I wonder if the this user, yeah, that doesn't have a password. I think somebody was attempting to set this up, or whatever this SSD was in. They were attempting to set it up as a digital signage machine, and I guess it must not have gone very far. It's got Wi-Fi. Initially, I thought that it was only going to be 802.11g. I was mildly surprised to learn that it was 802.11n, but of course I would have known that ahead of time if I'd actually read this sticker on the back. You can see it says right on it, 802.11bgn, PCIe mini card from Atheros. Qualcomm Atheros, whatever that actually is supposed to mean. Something like this can never hope to run Windows 11, and I wouldn't even want to torture it with that anyway. Which leads to the question of what you would do with something like this, because you obviously can't really use it for much anymore. With the impending doom of, at least nothing supported, with the impending doom of Windows 10. It's only using 21 watts from the wall. That's pretty nice. Of course, I would expect that out of a low-power device like that. I don't even know what this power supply would put out. Is this one. It's nice enough that it's Delta. What does it say on it? 19 volts, 3.42 amps. So whatever that works out to in terms of the math. Oh god, it just opened Teams. Okay. Anyway. The computer name doesn't give anything away, because it wasn't ever changed. Yep, 64-bit. On a system with 2 gigs of RAM. Not recommended. Come on, you piece of junk. I asked for the task manager. Even with an SSD, this really is a bit much. Like, I imagine that this probably would have been good with something like Windows 7. Of course, it might not have even shipped with Windows, and the reason why I say that is there's no product key anywhere on it. Wouldn't have been what it was originally running in its original tasks. It had a label on it. I think it was being used as a... Honestly, I think it was being used as a wireless access point, which is what I thought about doing with it. Now, it responded the second time. I don't know why it didn't respond the first time. Other than the fact that it's Windows 10 and it's made a fail. You know, I get a lot of comments. I had a Windows 10 rant video that I uploaded probably like 5 years ago. Or whenever it was that I uploaded it. And I still get comments on that video from people saying, well, you know, has your opinion changed now that Windows 11 is out and it sucks even more? You know, the fact of the matter is, the competition sucking more hasn't made Windows 10 suck less. You know, it still sucks. They never managed to fix any of the problems, and made them worse in Windows 11. Go figure. I guess it's the Microsoft way. Wow, RAM usage actually isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Although, look at the commit charge there. So maybe it is, and it's just paging things out. Is that only running at 800 megahertz? Ouch. That is some slow DDR2? That's not what that said on it. Now I gotta double check if I'm actually right or not. I'm pretty sure that says DDR3. So, look at that, it's pegging the CPU. Wonder what it's doing. Can I see what it's doing? Will it load fast enough to let me see what it's doing? Looks like a bunch of stuff. It's probably Teams being dumb and running in the background or something. Look at the task manager, though. Oof. Yeah, it looks like it's just Teams being dumb. I don't know why... Whoever decided that Teams should auto-load when you start your computer on Windows, whether or not you've ever used it before, ought to become sexually irresistible to grizzly bears. So it's just a horrible decision. Yeah, this thing is getting kind of warm. So the fan is obviously working, so that's good. That's nice of it. Let's see if I can open the device manager. This is probably a standard user account, not that it matters, I'm only looking at things. 2023. Well, the video driver hasn't loaded. There's SPDIF. Yeah, it's just using a basic display dagger, so no idea what video it actually has. A lot of these small machines like this were paired with some NVIDIA thing, and fortunately I don't think that's the case here, because those were pretty much terrible across the board. Realtek Ethernet. That's a decent choice. Again, far better than anything that NVIDIA ever produced. And an AR9285 wireless adapter. Is that even what this says on the back? Oh, look at that. Shovelware. 58.95. So that's not even what that is. That's nice. So who knows if it's 802.11n compatible. I think I looked it up and it was. So again, that's nice of it. That's descriptive. And of course everything is like that now. It's just generic everything. You know, the PC architecture has just kind of lost its old school charm from things like that, and even that. I suppose there's a lot of stuff that enthusiasts go gaga over, but I just don't care for any of it. It's just completely and thoroughly uninteresting junk. That's all exactly the same. Kind of like houses these days. Everything is all just the same. It's all the same boring white paint and gray walls and hardwood floor. At least this hardwood floor is brown, even though it's a vinyl floor. Most of them are gray and drab and boring. Anyway, that kind of turned into quite the tangent. I don't think this has really anything else interesting on it. I'm going to wipe the SSD, and then from there, I don't know. Because it's got a wireless card in it. I was almost tempted to use this as an access point, or configure this to be used as an access point, with something like DDWRT x86. But, I mean, to be quite honest, say what you want about TP-Link, and I'm sure it's sending all my information to China, but this thing is, what, AC3150? I think I still have the box. Probably go and look. Of course, it's like 12, so all the lights are off. I think the box is in here. Yeah, AC3150. So, I mean, I don't really want to replace that because that works just fine. And the other one down here I actually replaced. I had some guests over, and the stupid piece of crap Linksys thing that I was using, I guess this is just going to turn into a network update video. That thing decided it was going to put a password on the wireless network that I didn't set, and I have no idea what it is. So that turned into hilarity, so I ended up replacing it with this. This is a Netgear something or another, I have no idea. I think it's 802.11ac compatible. Maybe I should look that up. But it's got DDWRT on it. So that was actually given to me by, I feel like, Good Ideas a long time ago. And I've been meaning to actually use it for this, but I never changed it because that thing was working just fine. And then it wasn't, so then I replaced it. So it's kind of like how a lot of my things go. It was working fine, and it wasn't, so I replaced it. I mean, that thing over there is still running. Haven't done anything with that, because it's still working. I need to because it's kind of a piece of junk and I hate that case. But laziness breeds tolerance, and it's not like it's not running anyway. So either way, I think I'm going to register this with my fog server, wipe it, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with it because I've had a bunch of different ideas. Like I said, wireless. Thought about using it as an access point, but it's really no better than any of the access points that I've got. So why bother? I thought about using it as a network bridge because I have a traffic-shaped network for some of my things that love to hammer my network with traffic. For example, I have an apt mirror server that I'm running, and that thing loves to bring the network to its knees, so I fired up a traffic shaper to do QoS and all that stuff, and wanted a way to interface with that without having to expose a whole bunch of ports on that server. So I thought about using it for that. I don't know if I'm actually going to. You remember I still have that ASRock S330 mini PC that's over at the other place. I thought about replacing that several times. I have another mini PC from Jetway that I may or may not have made a video about ever. That's basically almost the same thing as this, except a little bit older. It's definitely DDR2. But I thought about using that for that project, never got around to it. Really the thing that was holding me back on that was the fact that it had DVI, as opposed to this, which has VGA, so I could use this for that. I don't know if I trust that fan, but it'd be darn sight better than the little tiny thing that's in the ASRock S330. And it would be a better system, ever so slightly. Might use a little bit less power. I don't know. But I don't... It'd be a waste of a wireless card, you know? I don't know. I'll probably find something to do with it. Okay, after a little bit of a fashion for PXE booting, I didn't figure out what key it was to get into the boot menu, so I just changed the boot order. Which is fine. I guess there's nothing really wrong with that. I think what I'm actually going to do with this is I'm going to use this. It might not actually PXE boot, because that shouldn't be taking that long. What if it locked up? It might have. What a piece of junk. So maybe I won't be using it for that, but what I'd like to use this for is my Linux testing box, because my Linux testing box that I did have, remember that cheapest computer build ever, that ended up becoming my main machine, sitting in there running all my stuff. So I kind of can't really do much testing on that if it was my main box. So this appears to have completely failed, so that's good. It's nice of it. I wonder if it just doesn't support IPXE. That'd be great. Yeah, apparently whenever it goes to initialize, it must initialize something it's not supposed to, and it blows it up. So, no disk wiping for us. Got a little bit of work to do. But I think for now I'm just going to go ahead and close the video, because there's not much else to see here. One last thing, because I do want to check. Did I put the screw back in? I think I put the screw back in. No, I didn't put the screw back in. Windows 10 said this was DDR2, but yeah, that very clearly says PC3 on it. So, I don't know what Windows is smoking, but clearly it's good stuff. I'd like some of it. But anyway, it doesn't get too warm or anything like that. And like I said, it works just fine. So it'll probably get some flavor of Linux. What flavor of Linux? I haven't decided yet. Because it's a Linux testing machine. So, although Linux test, I never really used it for much when it was in that purpose. Might put some of that Peppermint OS on this. That might be kind of nice. just kind of spitballing here, but I think I'm done. I'm going to close the video because I don't think there's really anything else that's worthy of sharing. If you want to know the model, the product name is Mini PC. Isn't that nice? But there's the model number, ZBOX SD-ID12 Plus. Fancy stuff. So it works just fine. It'll probably be a nice project at some point whenever I get to it. Thank you for watching, and if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below.